We're going to be continuing our lessons with transformations, and today we're actually going to be working with translations. So let's get started. Remember, a reflection is a flip over a line of reflection, so it's like you're looking at the image in the mirror. And a translation is a slide, so it's like you're looking at the back of it. So it's just sliding forward, up, down, back, that kind of thing. Dilation is a change in size, and we're going to do those at another time. So when you're talking about a translation, remember it is a slide. And because it is a slide, you are keeping the same shape and size and it's facing the same direction. So you still have those pre-image, which is the original one, and then your image, which is the new one. And the new one is, or the image is indicated by that prime mark. When you do a translation, you use what's called a coordinate notation, and it's really a set of directions to a new place on the coordinate plane. So it's going to tell you what's happening to your x. So if you're adding to your x, you're going to be moving right. If you're subtracting to your x, you're going to be moving left. And then it's also going to tell you what's happening to your y. So if you're adding, your shape will be moving up. If you subtract, it will be moving down. So the coordinate notation is just a set of directions. So here's one that actually has been translated 6 units to the right. You can see here is the coordinate notation. Nothing is happening to the y, but you still have to put it into the notation. But you can see that it's just moving 6 spaces to the right. So if I looked at this C and just went, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can see that C has now shifted, and they have all shifted the same way, so 6 units. So it went from -4 to +2, and then the y stays the same. Here's one that's actually done both shifted left, right, and up, down, and here's your coordinate notation. So you can tell that it's going to be moving to the left because x is subtracting, and then it's going to be moving up because y is adding. So let's just pick a point. We'll just pick A right here. And you can see that it's sitting here at 2, -2, but then A prime is over here at -4, 1. So you can tell that it's shifted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left because it was a subtraction, and then 3 up, 1, 2, 3, and then here's your new point. Again, translations, coordinate notations, a set of directions. So that's just kind of another example of one. So here's +5, -4. So that this one actually slid to the right and down. So you should always kind of have in mind where your new image or your image is going to end up just by whether you're sliding to the right, left, up, down kind of thing. Okay, so let's just do one here. I'm going to do this 2 ways. The first way, I'm just going to move it along the coordinate plane, and then after that, I'm going to kind of do the math of it. So let's just look at this. Here's your set of directions, your coordinate notation, x -2, y +3. So this means that my image is going to be moving to the left and up. So I'm just going to come over here to A, and I'm just going to go 2 to the left, so 1, 2, and then 3 up, 1, 2, 3. And so here is my new A. I'm going to erase that because it gets a little on the messy side. So here's my A prime. You can see it move to the left and up. So my B is going to do the same thing. It's going to move 2 to the left and 3 up, and I'm going to end up right here with my B prime. And then my C is moving 2 to the left, 3 up. And so my C prime is going to end up right here. So I'm just moving them along the coordinate plane and sort of coming up with the new coordinates as I do that. Okay. The next way we're going to do it is we're actually going to do the math. So here you can see I've got my set of directions. Here's my coordinate notation. So it's going to be moving to the right and up. So if I'm looking at this M prime, my x is now a 1, but I'm going to be adding 4. My y is a -4, but I'm going to be adding 5. So my new M is going to be 5, 1. And then so my new N prime is 3 + 4, and then -4 + 5. So my new N is going to be 7, 1. My P prime, 3 + 4, and then negative 2 plus 5. So I'm going to end up at 7, 3. And then r prime, 1 plus 4, negative 2 plus 5. So I'm going to end up at 5, 3. And then I can just come over to the graph and plot them. So I have 5, 1. There's my m prime. 7, 1. There's my n prime. 7, 3. There's my p prime. And then 5, 3. There's my r prime. So you can do them either way. Does not matter to me. So let's come down here and just take a look at this. This one I've actually given you the coordinate notation, and I'm asking for what the new image is going to be. And you can see here I've just done what we did here in this previous slide. I just took what's happening in the coordinate notation and did the math. So because it's subtracting 2 to x and adding 4 to y, I did this 5 minus 2 and then negative 2 plus 4 and came up with my new coordinate pairs. You're not always going to have a graph. Sometimes they'll just ask you for what the pairs are. And then the last thing here we're going to talk about is what happens when you actually, and actually I'm going to erase this and kind of start new because I forgot that was on here. But we're going to be looking at what happened to this. It's like it's already happened, and what did we do to it? So I need to look at what happened to my x and what happened to my y. So when I look at my x, it went from 5 to negative 2, and that's what this number line was down here a second ago. Here's 5, and here's negative 2. Well, I actually went negative 7 to get to that. So my x is x minus 7. And then my y, I went from 6 to 9, so that's actually a plus 3. So my y would be a plus 3. So then here I went from 1 to 6, so my x would be a plus 5. And then I went from negative 3 to negative 5, so I actually went negative 2. And here I went from negative 4 to 8. So think about that. I'm all the way down here at negative 4, and I go all the way up here to 8. That's a plus 12. And then nothing happened to my y, but I do still have to put it inside the coordinate notation and just leave it as y. So this coordinate notation would be x plus 12y.